Hey everybody. I thought about something today, as I'm prone to do. I thought about a bunch of conversations that I have seen online that say things like this crazy estimate by this public adjuster is why the industry has the problems it has. And I've seen that actually a lot. And listen to me. I I fired a client and a client that we had on appraisal with my appraisal side of my business because that this PA regularly would estimate a loss at anywhere from 6 to 12 to 15 times what the actual loss was. And there was no way to make him happy because I mean, he was in a crazy spot, and he had counseled the insured that this was the value of their claim. So when they didn't get that, they were prone to have other issues. I mean, they'd be upset. They were making all these plans around this money that was going to come to them, and really, if you get down to it, what he was trying to do with my staff was just make us, like professional liars, and we don't do that because, well, first of all, it's appraisal, and you straighten your ass up, and you do. You maintain just clarity in that process that you are true to the panel and you're true to the damage. And yeah, that happens. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm not saying there's not incredible abuses. Okay. I mean, I got a couple umpire gigs right now where I'm sitting on roofs that 3-tab roofs that are coming in with a demand for like $1,800 a square for a 3-tab roof on a single family dwelling that's 22 squares. But I was also thinking about the fact that if we're going to beat up on one end of that spectrum, okay, then let's also talk about the other end of the spectrum. Like today, one of our appraisers closed down an appraisal without the umpire, and I got to tell you, her opposing appraiser is probably one of the most stingy bastards I know in the appraisal world. He just is. I like him a lot, but he's stingy. And even with him being stingy, they moved that from $10,400 or so to about $85,400. So that's 720% increase. 720. So the carrier started at 10,000, and the panel agreed at 85,000 without even going to the umpire. So you tell me, if there was an estimate on that claim for $290,000 and an estimate on that claim for $10,000, I mean, who's more wrong? The answer is they're both wrong. That if we don't act true to the damage, whatever that may be, then we're all just phoning it in. And I think it's reasonable to say to somebody who shortchanges the insured on purpose because of some guidelines that say we don't pay for windows or we don't pay for that tile roof or whatever, okay? They just do it because of guidelines or because they know they're going to get more work if they do it. I think it's reasonable to vilify them in the same way as we take the public adjuster, for example, or the AOB contractor or anybody else and pushes them and pushes them to the extreme, pushes the file to the extreme. I'd also say that because one side pushes it to the extreme and the other side pushes it to the extreme, They both probably think they need to push it like this so they can get to a real number. Yes, that's a problem in our industry. But neither one of those problems live in isolation. And shortchanging and overcharging is essentially the same sin. This is one of the reasons why I love to umpire work, because I love to find where the truth is. And I just got to say, if we're routinely, even without umpire, seeing percentage rises from the hundreds to the many thousands, we did one recently that was 11,000% higher. And we don't go for higher. We go for what the damage is. That means the carriers on those particular claims weren't doing a very good job. Incidentally, on this one that we just closed down at 85, there was a public adjuster on it. We're doing it through attorney, but there was a public adjuster on it. And the adjuster had actually asked for, and the public adjuster in this incident had asked for $107,000. So relative to difference, you could see basically the needle moved more towards the PA than it did towards the carrier's number. I'll also tell you, I handled an umpire gig just the other day where the insured's appraiser came in with a data loss that was just not, nothing happened. Nothing. At all. A little bitty storm that would have done no damage. Even got in touch with a meteorologist to try to check on it. And boom. Nothing. So just like the carrier appraiser, I'm turning it in as a 0 award. In that case, the carrier was dead on balls right. And the contractor looking for $1,900 a square for a 3-tab shingle is wrong. Guys, we can't talk about one side without talking about the other. And in the whole industry, the entire claims tribe has to clean up its act and try to do this righter every day. We're always going to have arguments, guys. Always. But if you and your business are doing Jedi mind tricks to try to say that something is damaged that's not, or it costs 5 times what it cost, or a Jedi mind trick to say there is no damage here when it's obviously damage, then you are part of the problem. Because you give power, you give it to the very people that will use those negatives that we do to try to screw the insured completely, just like we just did in Florida. And you guys out of Florida, just remember, so goes Florida, often goes other places. Let's all step up our game. I say this to my crew every day. Is it really damaged? Can you really prove it? If you can't, you got to take it out. Peace, y'all. It's a little cold up here in Philly, but better than hot. Peace, y'all.